Why isn't a high caffeine intake and drinking lots of coffee considered drug abuse?
It is considered drug abuse if it's to the point of addiction. Doesn't happen often, but I've met 2 people in NA groups who were there due to caffeine addiction.
I mean, when's the last time you saw someone suck a dick for a cup of coffee on a corner? No? Last time someone robbed a gas station at gunpoint for a baggie of coffee? Anyone? Just me? Or the many times we have surely all witnessed a good friend's decline into addiction as he sold all of his things and stole from his family and lived in a coffee den just brewing it up, all day long in a bean-furled haze? Never, right, not even once.
Drug use is not abuse. Abuse is what the substance does to you. If someone has a little pot on a Friday night, sings some songs around a campfire and goes to bed, that's use. If someone steals their sweet grandmother's antique china to pawn it for a bag of weed, that's abuse. With caffeine, I admit I was once addicted, but I quit. If you have a cup of coffee in the morning to get the day started and put a little spring in your step, so be it. But when you are mean to other people, shut up. Don't even talk to me until after my coffee. You are grumpy, irritable, and a sad case until after you get your coffee. And only then do you feel normal. It might be time to reevaluate your relationship with caffeine. Because coffee doesn't ruin your life and or affect your brain in the point where you're dysfunctional and acting erratically abnormal. Go hang out with a heroin addict for a day. And please let me know if it's the same being around a coffeeholic. And I don't find coffee addicting. Like at all. People lean on it to push themselves through work because without a living, you struggle. As a society, we have deemed some drugs bad and some drugs okay. I think, in many cases, society made poor decisions. For example, I personally feel like alcohol is far more dangerous than cannabis. Anyway, we have largely deemed caffeine to be okay. It is definitely a stimulant and it definitely has an effect. It's also addictive. I seriously struggle with quitting caffeine. Anyway, it's pretty arbitrary. I'm not exaggerating. I am 100% addicted to coffee. I will become a maniac if I don't have it. If it were illegal, I would still consume, and I could see myself fighting anyone who tried to take it away from me. I literally need it.
Because it's legal. Same thing with smoking tobacco.
Dude, I don't know what you expected from this question, honestly. Just look at older posts. Why do you not take drugs? Quote, and you'll find a flood of Redditors trying to gaslight others by saying, haha, you've had caffeine. That means you do take drugs. Acting like it's comparable to someone tripping on acid. You have to understand the difference between drug dependence and addiction. Many people are dependent on substances, legal or illegal. I, for example, know friends who have taken caffeine, benzos, and opioids for dealing with anxiety and motivation. The difference is I don't know a single one on caffeine who went on to become an addict. Meanwhile, I had a friend prescribed oxycodone start selling his stuff and robbing others. You just reminded me to make my morning cup of coffee. Tie up.
Abuse equals misuse.
I mean, it's similar.
Well, people like to pat themselves on the back for certain things while they shun others for other things. That's pretty much why. It quite literally is. Caffeine addiction just doesn't lead to as many crimes or unacceptable behaviors. People easily forget an asshole raging 'cause they didn't get their morning coffee. They remember the crackhead screaming about how Jesus stuck a carrot up their butt and crowned them the Keratin King. People care about things that affect them, and caffeine addiction doesn't usually run over their kid or rob their house. I feel the same towards social media and video game addiction. Your brain does basically the same as drug addicts. I just watched a video of a student dummying a teacher for taking his Nintendo Switch. Kids killing themselves increasing tenfold since Facebook. Problem with parents jamming screens in toddlers' faces to babysit them while they doom scroll. What a weird time to be alive. I consume large amounts of caffeine. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I quit smoking and had a mild headache for 3 days. And craved cigarettes for a week. Sometimes I go a few days without caffeine and the first day I will have a mild headache. It will last for 2 to 3 hours. Then I'm fine. I was definitely addicted to nicotine. But it didn't interfere with how I function. And when I quit, the withdrawal effects were mild. I'm definitely addicted to caffeine. But it doesn't interfere with how I function. And if I don't take caffeine for a few days, the with doctor away effects are mild. Now let's talk about alcohol. I have never been addicted to alcohol. But I used to go on the occasional bender. I stopped doing that because alcohol does interfere with how I function. Heavy use and abusing are not the same thing. On a side note, I overdosed on coffee this week and it actually felt like I was on a drug high for about 6 hours. Because caffeine helps you work, so it's seen as beneficial to the system. Capitalism. My friends owned a coffee shop in Utah. The cops came by and told them they were drug dealers and said if there was ever any trouble that the cops would not help them. Obviously Mormon country.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.